Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and you're watching another live edition of the LockerGnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short, your daily dose of geek news, product views, and answers that you can use. Like an answer to the question, Chris, is your head too big? Or is that hat too small? Could be both, really, I don't know. Someone sent this child cap. It says Empire on it, with Darth Vader on the front. See, Vader is the Dutch word for dad, which I'm about to become, even with my dad in the room. I figured, there's dad, that's dad. He's going to be called Joe Pa, is his grandfather name. We also have Grandpa on Diana's side, and I'm going to be Vader. Vader? No, the child's going to call me dad, daddy, daddy-o. Are you hip to it, man? Anyway, someone sent this nice little child cap. I do not know if baby Pirillo will be inheriting it, though. This seems like it would fit very well in my collection somewhere. Or maybe it's like an answer to the question, Chris, what do you plan on covering today? This is pretty much going to be a dedicated episode of TLDR, apart from, that Darth Vader product showing you the geeky thing that I have. It's going to be all about Apple's announcements today because it's pretty much going to happen September 9th, coming up in a week or two-ish, a little over a week. I don't plan on streaming Apple's announcements live like I normally do, like listening and then giving feedback in real time. I do plan on, however, doing a live TLDR that day, giving you my thoughts after the announcements have happened for a couple of different reasons. Everything's fine. It's just that I happen to have a schedule conflict, believe it or not. So I will be listening live when and where I can to Apple's announcements. Very, very excited. Just as excited as I would be for Google's announcements, as much as I would be for any big Microsoft announcements, any big company announcements I get excited about, because it's fun. You usually see some new products. So I'm going to give you my thoughts, my predictions as to what we can expect with this Apple announcement. But before I do, let me go ahead and thank the 943 patrons as of today, August 28th, 2014. And let me also thank whoever sent this. The Lego Star Wars The Dark Side book with an exclusive Emperor Palpatine minifigure. That excites me too. Exclusives, minifigures, Star Wars, all in one, and of course, a whole bunch of pages that I now have to study in depth so that I can get to know the dark side. My dark side. I'm in touch with my dark side. I'm also in touch with my child. He or she will be wearing this Star Wars onesie, boy or girl, geek or nerd. They will grow up Star Wars. Thank you to whoever sent this baby onesie. Can't have too many Star Wars baby onesies. That is my opinion. Some people completely disagree. So, now that I've gotten all the Star Wars frippery out of the way, I think we all kind of know what to expect with this upcoming Apple event, which will likely be streamed live in Apple fashion. At least that's what's happened over the past couple of years. So, just to set the tone for what we might expect, they usually kind of they're coy when it comes to the announcement, like when they send out the invitation to press. Which no, I'm never invited. That's okay. I'm not crying about that. That would be it would be weird if you cried because Apple didn't send you an announcement. It doesn't mean anything. The nice thing, because I never pursue it. I just don't care. I care, but I'm fine in seeing things from a distance. So at least as far as announcements go. They said, and I quote, "Wish we could say more." Okay, so what's the key word in that sentence? Dad, do you know what's the key word in this sentence? Wish? No, that is not the key word in this sentence. More? No, well, that could be possibly a key word. There's a key word in here.
We?
Okay, I give up.
Okay, we're getting done.
I give up. It's actually say. Say is the key word there. So think about everything Apple's been driving towards with Siri, voice activation, say, speak, speech. Any kind of major Apple announcement is likely going to revolve around something with speech. So, yes, where there's smoke, there's fire. I would expect that with this, I think we may be looking at more voice-automated features to complement everything that Apple has already announced. I don't know if we'd necessarily see any new voice-enabled features within the new iPhone, which, yes, is most likely going to be announced. That would be the time for it. And that's probably one of the first things I'd say. Yes, we're probably going to hear about the new iPhone or iPhones. Not to believe in any rumors. I mean, it's fascinating to see what might be coming down the pike. But I don't want to put any amount of belief in what has been rumored to this point. I think it stands to reason that we're going to see a new iPhone or a set of new iPhones, depending on how that goes. Oh, cool. I just got a notification that they delivered this. That's great. You know, it's 2 hours later. Way to go. Yes, I expect to see a new iPhone or new iPhones. Uh, you know, I don't know if there were more than one iPhone. I don't know what I'd go with. You know, I tend to upgrade my iPhone just like I upgrade my Nexus products every time they release a new. Google obviously releases new Nexus products with their partners, and Apple obviously releases their own products. If there is a bifurcation between two different types of phones, I don't. Well, Wicket, you make your own decision then. You don't have to get what I get. I don't know why I have to explain this to him every time. I know! This isn't about Windows Phone. We covered that the other day. Can we keep this focused on Apple, please? Dogs, one-track minds. So, I think that if there are two iPhones, two or more new iPhones, I'd probably weigh the options very heavily and ultimately go with one that would serve me best, knowing what I appreciate about iOS, what I appreciate about Apple's products. And you know, certainly, you know, when I upgrade every year, I don't intend on upgrading more than once a year. And the smartphone is something that I always appreciate having a new one of, you know, when I can. So I can't really answer the question because no one really knows what new iPhone or iPhones are coming down the pike or what they will absolutely be. So expect a new iPhone announcement, duh. I do not, however, expect to hear much about a new iPad. I really don't. I don't think we're going to hear much about that at all. If anything, they may reserve that. iPads, you might sell well, but not as much as a new iPhone might, specifically in this time range before the holidays. If they did anything with the iPad, it might be with a separate series of announcements. I'd not believe, I guess in my mind, if they feature too many new things all at once, you know, there's no... I mean, there's a value in hearing everything all at once, but the problem is that no product stands out above the rest. So the other bit of hardware that is likely to happen, you know, this I don't know if I would have said this apart from the play on words. Wish we could say more. There's been a suggestion that Apple will have a wearable, like this little string I have on my arm. Will Apple have a wearable? I don't know, but by them saying, wish we could say more. Now imagine you've got a wearable. How do you want to interface with this wearable? How do you want to interface with this? Do you want to go, or would you rather talk to it and have it respond accordingly? Would you rather speak in a language that's comfortable for you or to you, to your device? Wish you could talk to more of the products to get the things that you need instead of having to worry about a screen. If you say, well, let's say it's a wearable, how many calories have I burned today so far? You have burned, 4 million calories. Well, great, 4 million. I don't know how the hell I did that. It would never respond that way. But the idea of putting that word, and I'm going to put a lot of weight on that word, say, if there is a wearable and Apple's trying to do things differently than everybody else, to me, part of the kludginess of a lot of the wearables out there is that you've got to recharge the battery frequently. They've got screen sizes that might look nice, but I'm not the kind of guy that even likes wearing this little string, and I've kind of gotten used to it. This is kind of something that I've worn consistently for the past few weeks, and I did a few months ago as well. And, eventually just kind of it becomes invisible. But if Apple wanted to trump with battery, if Apple wanted to trump with usability, if Apple wanted to trump in every regard in relation to something that would be wearable, they would have to do fantastically better than anything that I've seen to this point. And I'm sorry, but larger will not be better. If only because of battery life. So imagine if Apple's able to release a wearable that gives you the same data but surfaces it in a different way, either a conduit through your iPhone, your iPad, or specifically by way of voice. If you don't have to power a full-on screen, you can save a lot of battery life, a ton of battery life. And I think that is going to be the key for adoption of wearables. It makes it more usable. And is it just as easy to say something as it is to see something? Well, it depends on your definition of usability, but I think it stands to reason, now that they've come out and said the word say, I think where there's smoke, there's fire. They've made a lot of key hires in relation to some kind of watch or wearable. It could very well happen. This could be the time, and certainly ramping up to this year's holiday, or the series of holidays, the holiday season coming up, this would be the time to do it in conjunction with the new iPhone announcement. And Also, I expect, much like we had the announcements, the pre-announcements at WWDC of OS 10 Yosemite, which many of you have been beta testing, iOS 8, in conjunction with those two things, HomeKit and HealthKit. Okay, so this is where it all starts coming together. We already know there's a new version of OS 10 coming down the pike. It's likely going to be free. It's likely also going to become available not long after, if not on the same day, of this Apple announcement, or the Apple series of announcements on September 9th. iOS 8 usually ships to everybody, the world, a week before the new iPhone ships. I don't expect the new iPhone to ship immediately, maybe within a few weeks' time, a month's time. I wouldn't expect that they ship too much later than November. But again, I don't know what they're dealing with component suppliers and infrastructure. But this is where I think it all kind of ties together here. Wish we could say more. I'm going to keep coming back to that. OS 10 Yosemite, iOS 8, in conjunction with those two announcements, HealthKit and HomeKit. HealthKit is there to drive third-party, the vendors out there who want to be in Apple's ecosystem without actually developing a product with Apple. They can leverage HomeKit, HealthKit. Well, HomeKit is different from HealthKit. HomeKit for home automation systems or devices within the home, the Internet of Things that a lot of people keep talking about. HealthKit, more for your health, like tracking calories, weight, food, etc., etc. All the way down to like glucose testers for those who are diabetic or need to test their blood sugar levels. With those two things, for the lack of a better word, I know there's a more specific word to use here, and it's just eluding me at the moment. These two APIs, set of APIs, HomeKit, HealthKit. So you're going to be in the home. You're going to be yourself. Are you always going to have your phone on you? Maybe, maybe not. You're not likely going to leave something at home if you're intending on wearing it. I never leave my glasses at home. I need my glasses. I'm going to wear my glasses wherever I go. I don't wear prescription lenses apart from the glasses on my face. So HealthKit, HomeKit, coming in a wearable in conjunction with all the new advances with iOS 8 and OS 10 Yosemite. And the next iPhone may usher in a few other features in relation to hardware. Again, I don't want to talk about any kind of rumors or speculate on that front, but I'd expect to see some incremental improvements with the next iPhone, and certainly I'll be excited no matter what. It's always been an incremental improvement. I know some people expect radical departures between iPhone versions, but it just doesn't work that way, and it would be monumentally catastrophic if it worked that way. Apple, you can't change too much. If you change too much, it's like throwing a frog into a pot of boiling water. Bam, it's done. It's burnt. It's out. Versus acclimating it to the water temperature, and that's really what happens. It's the best. I guess it's the best corollary that I could make to better explain the way Apple does things and the way most tech companies should do things. You got to ease people into change. So HealthKit, HomeKit makes a lot of sense that you would be able to control by way of voice, just speaking, not worrying about software and kludgy interfaces, just be able to control by voice, always having something on you without worrying, where did I leave my phone? Is my phone over there? Where's my phone? I got to get my phone in order to do X. You just talk to your wrist, or you sit there with the wrist on your knees or whatever. You're like, change the channel to my favorite station, or watch Chris Pirillo's YouTube channel. And then, boom, something happens. And so I expect some updates with Apple TV to come along, maybe not major changes, but certainly it would make sense that if you're able to control more by way of your voice, you're not tethered to a device like a tablet or a smartphone, you got something on you, it just makes sense that you would speak to it and interact with it that way and be able to do the same things that you're going to do anyway. I honestly, I don't necessarily want a screen on my wearable. I don't. It's not something that I look for. I know I wasn't expecting to go a half hour today, but right now I'm going to go ahead and play through the list of patrons to give them credit as I continue forward. It makes sense that a wearable would happen at the launch of HealthKit, since that's what a lot of wearables are for, and HomeKit, because in and around the house, you may not have your phone on you, but you may likely have your watch on you or whatever your wearable is. I mean, I always have my glasses on me. It just always happens. So again, where there's smoke, there's fire. They have, Apple has essentially constructed a 2-story white building that may very well be used for demonstration purposes. So remember, I don't think this is anything, radically new, home, at least as far as HomeKit's concerned, because we knew this was coming down the pike. Well, what better way to demonstrate what it's like to be in a home and controlling all these automated features than with, an actual home? So they're likely in there, if I were to guess, I would say they're probably constructing a home in there that people, the press, could interact with and actually see things in action to see how well things work, rather than in any like a press arena or type of environment where you would normally just get a demonstration of products. So that's what I would imagine HomeKit, or that house is going to be built around HomeKit. Maybe some HealthKit stuff with some exercise machines and showing interoperability with iOS 8, potentially the wearable, potentially the new iPhone. But those are the things that I think are likely to happen. OS 10 Yosemite announcement, release date certainly, iOS 8 release date, maybe some final features, the next iPhone or iPhones, a wearable I think is extremely possible. I can't speak to the probability, but like I said, where there's smoke, there's fire, and I think that's what I'm going to hang my hat on there. Health Kit, Home Kit, we're going to hear more about that, and a lot of demonstrations that weren't available during WWDC. I think we're going to see a lot of software updates and a lot of features that are voice-driven more than anything. Wish we could say more is what I would come back to again. You got to read into, sometimes you got to read between the lines when Apple makes those announcements. And then, of course, the white building. You got to think through, why is Apple using a white building? I think that's tied into HomeKit, and I think that's specifically to give demonstrations and tours with either the wearables or specifically, iOS 8 in the field, in the field or in a home environment where you're able to interoperate with technology without the technology getting in the way. So those are my expectations. That's what I would expect. Will I be disappointed if they don't announce a wearable? No. Because I'm at this stage, I don't have a wearable. I'm not necessarily in the market for one. Would I be interested in Apple's wearable? Possibly. I've been looking for a good one, but have yet to be convinced that I need one, or that I want one that isn't just an add-on that just becomes a pain in the ass. Quite honestly, it's one of the reasons why I don't really get a lot of gadgets. Number one, they lose their value pretty quickly. They're great for what they are for as long as they last, but a year later, you're ready for a new one, and it tends to be that's one of the reasons why I don't always upgrade. I don't always have the newest. I'm not surrounded by a million gadgets because I couldn't keep up. It's just a lot of electronics to keep up with, and I always look for things that would complement the things that I'm doing or make my life better. The question is, would an Apple wearable make my life better? I do not know the answer to that question at all. Apple's yet to address it. Will they? It's looking likely. This time around, I don't know. But I will tell you, if they do not announce a wearable, I will not be disappointed. If they don't announce an iPhone, I will tell you, I will be disappointed. They're going to announce something big. This is the time frame for a new iPhone. If anything else, or everything else on top of that is a bonus. Cannot wait to get my hands on a final version of OS 10 Yosemite. Have not tried it yet. I can't wait to get my hands on a final version of iOS 8, if only to see the new features that come baked into iOS 8, many of which have already been made public. I like those updates. I love software updates, and I wasn't a tremendous fan of iOS 7. iOS 7.1 went a long way to addressing a lot of the problems that I had. I don't know how well or how much better iOS 8 will run on the same hardware. Maybe it'll run even better, or you'd imagine it would run better on next-gen hardware. But that, again, remains to be seen. So there you go. That's kind of, in my head, what I'm thinking in terms of my expectations with Apple's pending announcements, what I plan to do on September 9th. And let me just go ahead and say thank you. The reason why I'm doing this live video broadcast early today for all the patrons out there who are able to tune in, my super nomies. Everybody's one of my nomies. If you're watching, you're a nomie. You're a nomie. I hate to tell you. I've just bestowed upon you the title of Nomi. The Super Nomis back here, or some of the Super Nomis here, are around to help make sure that I'm able to do what I'm able to do for you. And I really, really appreciate all levels of support. I had to do it early today because I've got another appointment. I didn't realize I had a conflict, but you can find out about that in the vlog, which I assume you guys are watching, and all you gals. I don't know. So, are you expecting anything different? I mean, within a realm of reasonability, are you expecting anything different from this series of announcements? Let me know. Of course, the comments thread is completely open. We had a few people tuning in today. I know it was early, but Richard Wooding said it's an hour earlier than usual. You will find out why in the upcoming vlog, which will be posted about 4 days from now. And by then, maybe Diana will have given birth. I don't know. I could be a Vader then. Don't be a Vader hater. Don't do that. Thanks again for liking this video, if you did like it. Thanks for commenting, sharing, subscribing, being you. I hope you're having a great week. I really do. Hope you have a great weekend. If I don't have a chance to interact with you until after the weekend, or until next time. At this point, I'm going to wrap this up and speak to another live video, the second live video that I do every day. 5 Q&A with you and me. Today's topic is going to be, why does it take Apple so long to approve apps in the App Store? I got some thoughts. A lot of people kind of know what's going on, but this was the question asked, and so I'm very, very happy to spend more of my time answering your questions. It's really what I do. That is tomorrow's TLDR live, even if you're not able to catch it live. The TLDR topic is the AMA, so you can ask me anything. Patrons at the $5 level and higher get AMA priority. Everybody else can comment on the open Facebook thread, and I'll address them as I can. Bottom line is, I am here for you. I really appreciate all the support you guys and gals can give me throughout the year. At this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. We'll see you later.